Rank and status, marriage and wealth, all things that are apparent today, were even more distinct in late 18th century England. This was when the repression of women made marriage the only possible way a woman could move up in class. Women were meant to marry, attend to their husbands, have children, and then take care of them. Jane Austen, the author of Pride and Prejudice, clearly depicts this aspect of women during that time period, but also gives all of her characters, no matter what gender, immense depth and ambiguity of emotion. Published in 1813, Pride and Prejudice is still known as the greatest love story of all time, and is widely acclaimed throughout the world. Within this review, I will show you how this classic British novel relates to Things Fall Apart, a more recent novel by Chinua Achebe about African imperialism during the late 1800s. Pride and Prejudice starts with the news that Mr. Bingley, with an income of $5,000 a year, has just moved into the estate in Netherfield, next to the Bennets. Mrs. Bennet's goal in life is to have all 5 of her daughters, Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Kitty, and Lydia, marry rich as to improve their own social status and reputation. Mr. Bingley seems to fancy Jane, the oldest and the beauty of the Bennet sisters, after they meet at the ball. Mr. Darcy, Bingley's longtime friend, sees nothing in any of the Bennet girls and just thinks that Elizabeth is tolerable but not handsome enough to tempt me, when he refuses to dance with her or anyone at the ball. Everyone thinks of Darcy as an ignorant, wealthy snob, with an income of $10,000 a year, and no one wants any part of him. But as the weeks go on, Mr. Darcy finds that his attraction towards Elizabeth increases as her loathing for him rises. This enthralling love story takes off from there. With all the lies, scandal, heartache, and betrayal, you will never be able to put the book down. Without you, my soul cries. Jane Austen was just 21 years old when she wrote Pride and Prejudice, which was her second of 6 novels. She was born in Steventon, England in 1775. She published her books anonymously. Only her family knew of her authorship. Austen did not seek recognition for her work because of the state of mind England was in. A woman's entrance into the public eye was a disgraceful loss of femininity. Historically, Pride and Prejudice gives an accurate view of how women of late 18th century England were only capable of moving up the social ladder if they married into a wealthy family. Austen also shows how class divisions were established in family connections and wealth. She characterizes her characters internally, as in morality, and externally, as in rank and possessions. Austen depicts an England where social mobility is limited and class awareness is strong. Jane Austen was one of the first authors to write using elements such as formal social gatherings, sketchy characters, and scandal. There have been many movies made based on the book. As recently as 2005, a version was made starring Keira Knightley as Elizabeth. There have also been many books published based on the exciting and memorable characters in this story. People cannot get enough of the story or the characters and just want it to keep going on and on and on. Pride and Prejudice is known as the greatest love story of all time.
It is the most beautiful creature I have ever beheld.
There are many common elements that connect Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart with Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Mr. Darcy is a strong-willed and thick-headed man, much like Okonkwo. I cannot forget the follies and vices of others so soon as I ought, nor their offenses against myself. My good opinion once lost is lost forever. Although they are at different moral levels, there are aspects of Okonkwo and Darcy's morality that are similar. They are both selfish, inflexible, unforgiving, and judgmental. They both find it hard to express their feelings and say what they want to say. Loyalty in both family and friendships are apparent throughout both novels. Okonkwo is disappointed in Nuoi's apparent lack of family loyalty when he leaves his family for Christianity, while Elizabeth is angry at Darcy for deliberately sabotaging Jane and Mr. Bingley's relationship. She stands up for her sister and refuses his marriage proposal. The friendship between Darcy and Bingley is much like the friendship between Okonkwo and Obarika. Obarika and Darcy give advice to their friends when it is needed and always stick by them and have their back. Another common element is the importance of marriage and its relation to rank in both novels. In Things Fall Apart, the more wives a man has, the more respect he receives and the higher up he is in the clan. This is why choosing a wife with a good background and bride price is important. Much like in Pride and Prejudice, where a man seeks a wife of good social standing or rank, one that has a respectable background and reputation. The selection of a wife in England is a decision that is not taken lightly. Overall, Pride and Prejudice is a classic and a challenge to read. The style of writing is very different from today, and the entire book is quite slow-moving. It may be tough for some to get through, but once you do, it is worth it. If you are into romance and complicated love stories, then this is your kind of book. Pride and Prejudice shows how social status and class are not of the utmost importance when it comes to true love.